Well, happy Friday in the fantastic City Hall of Newton, Massachusetts. Mayor, thank you so much for hosting this event celebrating April as Organ Donation Month and highlighting individuals throughout New England, throughout Massachusetts, and right here in Newton who've been personally touched by organ donation. It's a great way to celebrate something that we can all be involved in, and that is registering as an organ donor. My name is Matt Boger. I have the great honor of representing New England Donor Services. We are the federally designated organ procurement organization responsible for the identification and transplantation of organs and tissues throughout Massachusetts and throughout New England. We have a lot of great speakers to speak, but I do want to specifically recognize, who will speak later on, Colleen Ogilvie, who runs the RMV, Registry of Motor Vehicles here in Massachusetts. The RMV here in Massachusetts and the DMV in every other state in the country have a strong responsibility regarding organ donation. They have the opportunity to present that question: would you like to register as an organ and tissue donor? Colleen's staff sees literally hundreds, if not thousands of people on a daily basis providing that opportunity to register. The RMV plays a significant role in that 98% of all people who register do so at that state agency. Colleen, thank you for your positivity and education for your staff. Organ donation is a voluntary choice. That being said, it's not a neutral choice. You can say yes, or you don't have to register. That being said, we have provided the easiest mechanism to engage with the greatest population, and that is getting your ID, real ID, or driver's license, the most obvious one, to register. So we thank you for doing that. Just a real quick question. How many people here have a driver's license? We're at 100%. We're at 100%. So we are the only public health question presented on a state document there. Mayor, thank you so much for having us at this fun event. And you've had meetings all day, and you let us come into your wonderful tomb here to have this event. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yep. And thank you all for being here today. This is really a terrific group. This is a very important month, a very important event. We literally have the opportunity to help our friends, our neighbors, and even strangers, and literally give life to someone else. And there is not much more you can do than that opportunity. The idea that you can give organs to someone else is really so important. And I just want to thank you for being here. I'm really grateful that you're here in City Hall. I want to encourage every single person in Newton to sign up. It's easy, it's free, and you're doing something that's really good. So thank you again.
Mayor, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. We also have the state representative, one of several who are representing Newton. And Representative, thank you so much for being here and saying a few words.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you to everybody who is here for all of what you do and every day. I agree with the mayor in terms of everybody in Newton, please register. I am also registered, and I think it's very important to do what we can. I'm here today on behalf of the state delegation from Newton, as well as State Representative Tom Stanley, to offer this citation to the New England Donor Services in recognition of your tireless work to support organ donation, education, and registration, and for your steadfast commitment to advancing a mission that brings hope, healing, and the gift of life to countless families. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors, given this third day of April 2026 at the State House in Boston, Massachusetts, by Speaker of the House Ron Mariano, offered by me, Amy Masangiolo, Greg Schwartz, State Representative John Lawn, and again, State Representative Thomas Stanley. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Representative, thank you so much. And we're looking forward to seeing you on April 15th at our event there. It's so wonderful to have elected officials here to talk about organ donation and use their mouthpiece to bring attention to this. I'm so pleased, and I want to apologize to Stephen. He sent me a wonderful email that I'm just consuming now. But Stephen, if you don't mind saying a few words here, he is an individual who is one of the city council people, here in Newton, and he's got an important story to tell. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. We would like you to register. We don't want you to die. But it is important. And sometimes we're all going to die at some point. And the benefit that you can give to other individuals is extraordinary. 8 years ago today, I received a phone call from Massachusetts General Hospital saying that they had a heart for me if I wanted it. I'd been waiting for 3 years. It's extraordinary to think about what a change that is in one's life. One of the greatest disappointments is that I've never been able to thank the donor family. They have chosen to remain anonymous. But they and everyone who does donate, and all of us here who are recipients, are incredibly grateful for your thoughtfulness and your love for the rest of us. So please, we would like you to donate and sign up, but we want you to live long, good lives. Thank you.
Stephen, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Several things. A, congratulations. You are a great example of the success of organ transplantation. And B, thank you. The first thing you said is, I want to say thank you to the family who provided me life. The city council person is correct. We are not about death. Our motto is donate life. We don't want anyone to pass away, period. Sadly, there are people who pass away, and there's an opportunity to continue someone else's legacy through the wonderful miracle I call of organ transplantation. I do want to indicate how rare organ donation is. I think a lot of people hear about organ donation from things like ER. That kind of dates me. I think, what's the new thing? The Pit's a good one, and Grey's Anatomy is another one. These are great theatrical stories, and organ donation is always part of their storytelling, which is true because it's a real-life story of someone else's dying is someone else's gift of life. Organ donation is very rare. Only 3% of all deaths have the potential to become an organ donor. You're more likely statistically to need a transplant than to become an organ donor. We have over 100,000 people today waiting for a life-saving transplant in the United States. Here in New England, that's over 6,000 individuals waiting for a life-saving transplant. So we're so pleased to kind of share the wonderful stories of people who are alive today because of it, and we share the stories of people who've loved ones passed away and became legacy heroes for doing that. I do also want to recognize the Department of Public Health, which is right here. I do want to indicate that we have a way to register, and that's at, if you don't mind, right here, mass.gov/organ donor, mass.gov/organ donor. Most people, as I said, have to register at the RMV, and you unfortunately only go there every 5 years. I like to go more often. Colleen will not like me to say that because they've got great staff, but you can do that at any time at mass.gov/organ donor. Colleen, if you want to say a few words, really appreciate for what you and your staff do.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Colleen Ogilvie, Registrar of Motor Vehicles. It's my great pleasure to be here to continue to support such a wonderful organization and all the stories we hear today from donor recipients and families. We consider the partnership with New England Organ Donor extremely important. We provide staff to wear T-shirts and celebrate, certainly during donation month, attend events because we want to help. We want to help give the gift of life. And there's over 1.5 million chances for our residents in Massachusetts when they renew their driver's license, their Mass ID card, or apply for a new driver's license permit to say yes to the question on the application. It's very simple. You just have to say yes, and then at renewal, just confirm that you want to continue to be an organ and tissue donor. So, and when you do that, we're happy to place that red heart on your driver's license or your identification card, showing your commitment, and then also share it with your family so that they know what your wishes are. It's a great organization, and as everyone has said, we want to give the gift of life, and we're happy to be able to support that. So thank you very much.
Colleen, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. One of the things that we've been doing in recent years is really reaching out to all age groups, both individuals over the age of 70 and individuals who are younger just getting their driver's license. Unfortunately, after this thing called COVID hit the world, registration rates throughout the world and throughout the country have decreased. Massachusetts had been a great leader in organ donation registration rates. 52% of people who came in and said yes. That number has decreased to about 47% of people who come into the the RMV say yes to organ donation. We're doing a lot of work to help educate that, and actually the wonderful work that our staff do, which is over 300 people strong. Stephen Averhart is one of the great individuals who works with families at the hospitals, does a wonderful job of sharing the story of life and talking with families in the most difficult time in their life when they've lost a loved one. Stephen, thank you. Come on up and join this group. We're really good to see you, my friend. I'm doing a hug. I don't get to see you enough. Good to see you. Just real quickly, New England Donor Services does represent New England. We have over 300 staff who are on call 24 hours a day. I get a call from this tall man, quite honestly, at 3 in the morning, but we act because every opportunity to save a life is really important. I do want to indicate that our wonderful work with Department of Public Health has been fantastic. We have launched a new campaign, and this campaign is going on social media, and this is both your head and heart support the idea of registering as organ and tissue donors. It's a neat little cartoon that we've just released. It's on the Department of Public Health's website, and if you go to mass.gov/organ donor, you can see that video. We're going to be launching it on Facebook, Twitter, and all these other things that I have very little knowledge about. Kate, if you want to say a few words about the DPH, that'd be great. Thanks.
Sure, thanks so much. Thanks, everyone. I'm Kate Pillow. I'm the Chief Clinical Officer at the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and thrilled to have so many people here celebrating organ donation and encouraging donation. At the Department of Public Health, in addition to our partnership with the New England Donor Services, in order to be able to increase donors, and with our partnership with the Registry of Motor Vehicles, the department works to make sure that we have safe transplant services across the state. And so we work with hospitals to provide transplant services, and last year we had 2 hospitals in Boston that were able to expand their transplant services. One hospital was able to add liver transplantation, and another hospital was able to add heart transplantation. So really a lot of collaborative efforts with our hospitals and with NEDS and with the Department of Public Health to be able to make sure that not only are we working to increase donors, we're working to increase access to donation. And we also work at the Department of Public Health in collaboration with New England Donor Services in order to be able to help defray some of the costs, particularly after transplantation. As many of us are unfortunately aware, there's often costs for transportation, for frequent visits back to the hospital after somebody receives a transplant, as well as potentially medications that might not be covered, or high co-pays or premiums. And so we work to be able to administer a fund. And last year in 2025, we had twice as many recipients as the year before to be able to access these funds and to help, again, make access to transplantation affordable and accessible to everyone. So I want to thank you, Mayor, and thank the City of Newton for having us here today.
Great. Thanks so much, Kate. Really appreciate all that DPH does. Please extend that to the commissioner as well. This was all a prelude to what we're really here to talk about, and those are the individuals, except for you, sir, thank you so much, of people who've been personally touched by organ donation. I'm so pleased to introduce individuals who are a big part of not only Newton's community, not only Massachusetts community, but the New England community, and that is the owners of Bernie and Phil's furniture store. Their sons have taken over and have continued to run a really great business that are providing sustenance in furniture for people throughout this area. Both Rob and Larry have their own stories to tell, and would really appreciate them saying that. Rob, if you don't mind, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much, sir.
Hi, everybody. Rob Rubin. So I was diagnosed with PKD, or I was put on the list about 2 years ago. And fast forward to this past summer, I got really sick, thought it was the kidney, was admitted to the hospital, first to Brigham and Women's, thinking it was the kidney. Ultimately, it was discovered as autoimmune hepatitis, so now I needed both a kidney and a liver, and so I was transferred over to Mass General, And at the end of September, so I just celebrated 6 months post, I received a kidney and a liver transplant. And it was quite a journey, but I'm here to say that I'm feeling really well and going to continue to do so. And I'm very thankful for the donor family, and I did write them through New England Donor Services, who facilitates that. And, you know, I don't know whether I'll ever hear back from them, but I express my gratitude and how thankful I am to that donor family. So that's my story.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Rob, thank you so much, and thank you for reaching out to the family and thanking them. That is a time period where individuals lost a loved one, but just the term thank you goes a long way for those individuals. As Rob said, their family is touched by ordination, and now we have Larry, who is a Newton resident here, a voter, sir, going to share his story as well. Thanks so much.
Okay. I have so much gratitude for all of you here for caring and for sharing this message about organ donation with others. Giving back to community and people in need has always been the foundation of Bernie and Phil's Furniture. My brother Rob was given a second chance at life, a kidney and a liver from an organ donor. Because of that precious gift, he's here with us today, and our family will always be grateful. There are so many people waiting, hoping for the same chance my brother received. I am now one of them. As a child, at 10 years old, I was diagnosed with polycystic kidney disease, an inherited disease. I've always known that one day I would need a kidney donor, and now that time has come. It's become critical, and I am actively looking for a living kidney donor. I want more time to enjoy more wonderful moments and be here to support my loving family, my wife Brenda, and my 4 children and 3 grandchildren. Today and every day is about gratitude. I want to express my deepest appreciation for the living and deceased donors and for the families who say yes in the hardest moments and for all the lives they save. Learning more, talking about it, or becoming a donor can give someone that same second chance at life. Thank you.
Larry, thank you so much for sharing that story. And it is those individuals who are on the waiting list as well who need to be represented. Sadly, the statistics are that 13 people die each day waiting for a life-saving donor. Of that 100,000 individuals waiting for an organ throughout the country, about 78% of those individuals are waiting for a kidney. Kidney is unique in that you have 2 of them and one can become a living donor. I do want to recognize real quickly one of our great staffers, and that's Seth, who donated to Emmanuel, last name, yes, sir? Philip, and who is an owner here in Newton, some great restaurant. What is this? Little Luke's Cafe. Yes, fantastic. We encourage you to go there, but the need is so great. There is individuals who are on the waiting list waiting for a kidney. The opportunity to donate a living one is an opportunity to do that. Larry's looking for that. Seth was able to continue the life of someone else. I will say New England Donor Services at the federally designated OPO only deal with deceased donors. We do understand that living donors need to be part of the solution to help save lives. Continuing on that, we have an individual here who received an organ when she was very little and is flourishing today. Leah, where are you? Oh, you're right there. Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Leah. My story began when I was in 6th grade, 11 years old. One day I was complaining to my mom that my stomach hurt. She took me to my doctor and they thought, oh, just some indigestion, take some Pepto-Bismol and go back to school. A week later, I noticed that my skin and the whites of my eyes had turned yellow, my jaundice, and I didn't think anything of it. But later that day, my mom picked me up early from school and said, we're actually going to go to the emergency room at Bridgeport Hospital because your doctor called and they want to do more tests. I was very nervous. I was like, why are we going to the hospital? I'm not used to this. I was admitted overnight. I had blood drawn through a tube in my arm, was hooked up to an IV. And somehow, a resident was on my case, and that made her think of someone else she had studied under, Dr. Mystery, a liver disease expert. And they thought I had Wilson's disease, a condition that causes excess copper to build up in the blood and body. My situation became so critical that the medical team wanted to airlift me from Bridgeport Hospital to Yale New Haven Hospital. Unfortunately, due to the high winds that day, I was transported via ambulance, which was good because my dad was able to ride along with me. They told me, and they told my family, that I was suffering from acute liver failure, and I had days to live if I did not receive a liver transplant. Of course, all my family, my parents, family friends, all stepped forward to see if they would be a living donor match, but unfortunately none of them were. However, my uncle's niece was driving up to visit her grandmother for Easter weekend, and she heard about my condition, and she said, I'm O positive, I want to be tested. So she came forward, was tested, and was told hours later, congratulations, you're a match, surgery is tomorrow. So my liver transplant happened on Sunday, March 23rd, 2008, which in this particular year happened to be Easter Sunday, a day that represents new life. And for that, I'm forever grateful, obviously, to the transplant team and my surgeons at Yale New Haven Hospital, but most especially Bethany, this 28-year-old woman who selflessly agreed to donate a portion of her liver to save my life.
Wow. Wonderful. How many years?
It's been 18 now.
So it's always hard to ask anyone their age. This was 18 years ago, and FYI, I think Easter is a Sunday. Look at this! Look at that! Yes. Well, and as you mentioned, we do celebrate April as Organ Donation Month, and that is not unique. That is when the winter becomes spring, when things start to flourish, and we really embrace that. Really well said. Thank you so much. And great. 18 years later, amazing. And this is your friend, your husband? Oh, even better. Okay, very good. Well, thank you for being here. So New England Donor Services is the organization that facilitates organ transplants. We do also facilitate tissue transplants, and we're proud to do that. I've got a great individual who spoke last year and is going to share his story again. Fred, thank you and your wife for coming and saying a few words here today. Appreciate that.
Very nice to be here. Among people who are very, very fortunate. We don't think of ourselves initially as being terribly fortunate because each of us had a medical problem of the first order that threatened our lives. In my case, it was a little different. It wasn't about life, it was about sight. I had a vasculitis, which is a disease of blood vessels, and it took my corneas and also thinned my sclera at the same time. The result was I was going blind, and I needed two things. I needed to have the disease, the underlying disease, addressed successfully, and I definitely needed two corneas, which in time I received. And I think about that in several different ways. One is just the gratitude that it was available to me, the donor families, the medical community, all coming together. It's not one by itself, but it's the two together. And I think about the medical community, we recognize and respect them for the decisions they make. They have their profession that they have trained, they are skilled, they are dedicated, they make a tremendous difference. And that is something they make by choice. The donor community is very different. It's a chance for them to give, but there is a matter of chance and circumstance. It's not something that they would choose to do, but they are forced to confront the situation at a very difficult time in their lives as they are grieving a loss, and at the same time they are stepping forward to do something quite wonderful. And I think of them in a particularly positive way. And then there's also NEDS. NEDS is more than an administrator, it is also a support system. And they are very good at what they do. So really, it's three pieces that make the whole, and the whole is wonderful. Thank you.
Fred, thank you. You always do such a great job, Fred. Fred, thank you so much. I do want to, Mayor, thank you so much for the time that you're giving us here. We could literally spend hours sharing the amazing stories of people personally touched. I do want to recognize Eileen Sullivan, who's been one of our great volunteers for as long as I've been around. 20 years. I haven't been around 20 years, but you're always, for some reason, you're getting younger and I'm getting older. I do want to specifically recognize that, so I am fortunate to be able to speak and work with the state government, hospitals, etc., about organ donation. I am a very small piece to a massive puzzle to help save lives. Stephen Averhart is honestly one of the greatest guys around. Tall drink of water over here. Does amazing job with his staff in the hospitals, working with families during the toughest time in their lives, and that is when someone has passed away. To come and provide the opportunity to have that legacy continue on and save someone else's life is a miracle. That being said, it's a very difficult conversation to have during something that's so traumatic. Stephen, if you want to say a few words, we appreciate it, and thank you so much for all you do, man.
Greetings. With this being the month of April and Donate Life Month, I think it's important to note that only 1 to 2 people out of 100 pass away in a way in which they could be a donor. So it's very important that you are open to registering as a donor, and even if you don't want to register, sharing that decision with your family really helps the family services coordinators when they are interacting with your families if anything were to happen to you. Donation is a wonderful thing. It is not for everyone, but it should be considered. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen. Stephen is the man behind all the stuff, so thank you so much for being here. Appreciate that. Mayor, thanks again for having this wonderful celebration here. Oh, I knew you have something here.
We have a commendation as well that I neglected to put out earlier, but let me put that right here.
Ooh,
There you are.
a gold stamp. I love it.
We've got the gold stamp.
All
We've got a
right.
nice picture here. Thank you again. I'm just going to put out the little plug. This is what you need, okay? You put that heart on your license. It's not very hard, as you just said. Very easy. Just do it. Do it. Hopefully you'll be able to save someone's life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, thank you so much. Much like a celebration, and this is a celebration, I'd love to do a great big picture with everyone beforehand. But Mayor, thank you so much for sharing this event and bringing this out. I have this phrase, if a tree falls in a forest, does it make a sound? It does if there's someone to capture it. So Newton TV, thank you so much for grabbing this and hopefully providing this to the greater public. These events, it's really about love. It's about sharing the life of someone else, someone who's received it, someone who's waiting, a wife who's affected by it, the state who plays an important role is great. So thanks, everyone. And I do have to recognize that you know a great leader when they have great staff. Dana is fantastic. We've worked with her previously. And Hattie as well. And Hattie remembers me from like 5 years ago, which I appreciate. I'm glad to know that I'm memorable. But great, thanks so much. I'm going to set up a few things and we're going to do a quick picture if you don't mind. Thanks again, appreciate it.